7. Could have a little sleep in this. 9, 10, 11, 12. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know who shut you where. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating in my tin can, far above the moon? Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Woohoo! There we have it, a little bit of David Bowie for a change. Wow, great to see you all. I have been looking forward to this all week, so it's absolutely fantastic to catch up with you again. Hopefully we've got a few people here with us tonight, and I would first like to say thanks to Michael Burke, who made a contribution earlier on, made a donation. Thanks for that, Michael. So a little bit of a quick hello to everybody. I think we've got a lot of people here. We got Sal Cook, yeah, and we got Scott. Great to see you, Scott. Paul Hilliker, great to see you, Paul. Katie, lovely to see you. Leo, I think we've got Julie Banjo as well. I'm hoping that we've got Pat with us tonight. I'm not entirely sure. Jeff, great to see you as well. So we've got quite a few people here tonight. Is there anybody I've forgotten, or are we still good? I think there's probably a lot more people than I've said hello to, but there's always another chance at the end. So we're not going to worry too much about that. Just wonderful to have your company. And as I say, I've really been looking forward to catching up with you all. We've even got Andrew with us tonight. He's remembered. Hey, Andrew. Oh, big star for you. That's well done for being here, okay? Gary Curtis and Pat indeed is here. And we've got Pete as well. Pete, great to see you. Pete Galloway. I know that you've been wanting to join us for this show, but it's been a little bit difficult for you. So it's lovely to have you here, Pete. And we've got Javo de la Torre. So we've always seemed to have some new viewers. So we've got Jean Michel. We've got Preston. Preston, great to see you out in Louisiana, my Louisiana buddy out there. We've got John J. And like I say, we always tend to have a few new people, which is fantastic. So if you can spread the word, don't forget to do so. So that was a little bit of David Bowie for you there, and it's a really, really nice song. It's not too difficult. It's quite a long arrangement, but I have done a lesson on it if you're interested. So we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. We've got a lot of stuff to squeeze in. And if you're wondering why I'm playing this guitar at the moment or so much, it's because I'm having some work done on some of the other guitars. So that's why I've got this one. And hey, Bob Hardy, great to see you. I was hoping you'd be here with us tonight as well, Bob. So it's lovely to have your company as well. That's fabulous. So let me just zip on over to my notes now so I can just remind myself of all the things that I need to talk to you about tonight. Because we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. Well, of course, we've got our play along. And for those of you, a lot of you probably already know that the play along for tonight is going to be Elvis Presley because it's the anniversary of his birth today. So we're going to do an Elvis Presley for the play along, and that's going to be called That's All Right Mama. So that's one of the play along songs we're going to be doing. So get yourself ready for that, Andrew. Make sure you got your acoustic guitar with you. And that, of course, goes for everybody else. Hey, Derek, nice to see you. So have your guitars ready. Get yourself tuned up. There's plenty of time to do that. This is one of the highlights of the show, and we all have a little bit of a strum along together. So as I say, the first track is going to be Elvis Presley, That's All Right Mama. And the second track that we're going to take a look at is Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side. And I would like to thank Leo for his suggestions on that one. So help me out there, just trying to pick out a couple of songs. And don't forget, you can always go over to the Facebook group page or the Patreon page and make some suggestions for the play-alongs. The only kind of stipulation that I make, in a sense, is that it helps if it's something that I've covered. And I have done over, I think, 300 lessons now. So you should find something there that we can cover in the play-along. Unless, of course, it's simple. Like, for example, the Elvis Presley that we're going to take a look at tonight is not a particularly difficult one for us to do. So if it's a relatively straightforward one, I certainly don't mind taking a look at that. So make your suggestions either on Patreon, YouTube, or the Facebook group page. Okay, so I'm glad you could make it as well, Pat. Thank you for joining us. I've got something for you later on. I know how much you like John Lennon, so I thought I might play you a John Lennon song later. That's my mum, by the way. She's always telling me how much I sound like John Lennon, so I'm not exactly sure about that. But anyways, may play you a little bit of John Lennon later on. So before we kind of get started and stuff like that, I'd just like to tell you some of the stuff that I've been getting together in terms of video lessons and stuff like that. So I started a new series over on Patreon for anybody who's interested, and we're taking a look behind the scenes. So all the stuff that I've used since I started playing guitar up until the present point. So that's going to, take in all the instruments that I've used, all the equipment that I've used over the years. So for example, when I was playing in a rock band, obviously it was a completely different setup. It would be electric guitar and amplifiers and pedals and all that type of stuff. And also I'm going to be talking to you about recording and how you can make recordings of your own and things like that. And it's actually a really huge topic. And over on Patreon, everybody has been asking me questions. So what I do is I do some behind the scenes, and then I spend some proper decent time answering some of those questions. And I'm sure that most of the people here will tell you about that if you're interested. Really nice series. We've just done the first part. I'm working on the second part. So if that's something that appeals to you and you'd like to know a little bit more about the equipment that I use and things like that, or you just have a general question you'd like to ask me, then you can head over to Patreon and do that. So that's something that I'm relatively excited about because it seems to be getting a lot of interest over there, and I've had some fantastic feedback from everybody. Okay, so what's Katie saying there? Walk on the Wild Side, great book. Okay, that's interesting. The name read it if you can. Really interesting book. I'll check that out, Katie. I always like to have something to read. Maxter, still need to check these out. Yes, you do. Great behind the scenes on Patreon. Thanks, Sal. Yeah, I think it's going down relatively well, all that stuff. So that's one of the things we're doing. Now, one of the things that I wanted to touch on this week was actually from this series. It's a little snippet from this behind the scenes series, and people ask me a little bit about how I work out songs and things like that. And because I learnt so many years ago, 40 years ago, obviously there was no YouTube and there was no visuals really. So everything I had to do was by ear, and that's no bad thing. I think the difference is that when you learn by ear, everything takes a lot longer than what it does in a visual way. So if you're learning stuff, say for example on YouTube, obviously that is infinitely quicker than sitting with a CD on and trying to figure it out. But the negative side of all this visual learning, if you like, is that you don't really develop your ears. And it's a hugely important skill. If you listen to a lot of these great guitarists, your Joe Bonamassas, your Eric Claptons, all these people, I think that you'll find a lot of these people learn by ear, which makes them, kind of hear things a lot easier than what, other people might. So it's very, very important to try and incorporate some of this into your practice. And so this is what I was talking about. And a very, very easy way you can do that, okay, is by just going on your first string. Now, first of all, you should, if you don't already know the names of the strings, yeah, open. And it's just very, very simple. You've just got an E, a B, a G, a D, an A, and an E. So that should only take you like kind of 5 minutes really in a way. Okay, so very, very quick thing. And if you don't know that, put that as to be number one on your list. Okay, I'm sure 99% of you do already know it, but if you don't, then make it your business to learn that because it's going to be useful. Now, the next thing you want to try and learn are the notes going up the fingerboard. Okay, and you can just start out doing this with one string. Hope you're listening in here, Andrew, because this is going to be, I'm going to be quizzing you about this for your lesson on Monday when it comes around. Okay, so what we do is we start out with this E string. That's an E string, and that's an E string. So it stands to reason if you know the notes on the bottom string, you're going to know them on the top string, right? Now, even if you just get to know the kind of F, G, A, B, C, D, and back to E, and you don't worry about the incidentals, the sharps and the flats, then that is step one. And I would like you to all, again, I'm not really sure how many of you know this. It could be that a very large percentage of you already know this, so forgive me for that. But I do like to try and take into account everybody's level, okay? So there'll be people here who aren't too sure about that. So, just to recap, yeah, on that first string we've got E, and then we've got F, and then we've got G on the 3rd fret, A on the 5th, B on the 7th, C on the 8th, D on the 10th, and back to E on the 12th. We start again. Okay, so you go E, F, G, A, B, C. All right? Try, as I say, if you don't already know that, then that's another thing that you need to pop on your list. And I'm hoping that you've all got your pens and papers here. Hello, Margaret. I'm not sure whether we've already met, but it's always nice to see a new face. Okay, so that is something that we really do need to learn. Now, once you've done that, so you can practice a little bit of listening skills, put on some CD or something that you really like and you want to figure out. And make sure it's relatively simple. It's a good idea if you just start out kind of quite simplistic on this, okay? And what I'd like you to do is, when you're listening to the CD, you're going to be going. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to hear one of these notes that you're playing within the song that you're listening to. Now, it could be that you think, no, I can't hear anything like that in the song. No, that doesn't seem to be there. Oh yeah, that's definitely, I can hear that sounds in tune. That sounds very in tune with what I'm listening to. Now, the interesting thing about this is that if you find, let's say for example, it's on the 5th fret, that means it's in A. And very often what you're going to notice is that that note that really resonates with what you're listening to, more often than not, turns out to be the key of the song. And once you know the key of the song, then you can work out, generally speaking, what the chords for the song will be. So, like we've said, we're on the 5th fret, and let's just presume that this is a note that really does resonate with what we're listening to. Okay? So let's just think, right, the song could be in the key of A. Now then, so that's something we know. We've figured something out, and we've figured out something by ear, which is a very valuable thing to do. So when we figure out what key something is in, the next step we need to take are to find out the 3 major chords in each key. Okay, and we call those chords the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. I'm not going to get too bogged down in theory because I just want to keep this simple and I don't want to send anybody to sleep. So if we're in A and it's in the key of A, that would mean that would be our 1 chord, an A chord. So how do we find the 4 chord? Because remember, we need to know the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So what we do is we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On that same string, and what you're going to notice now, once we've counted up 5 frets, we've got a D. So that means our 2nd chord is going to be a D. Alright, we've just gone up 5 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got our 4 chord. So the only thing left for us to figure out is the 5 chord. So once we've got the 4 chord, we just go up another 2 frets. 1, 2. Which is an E. Alright, so that means now we know the 1, the 4 and the 5 chord. And the chances are that you'll be able to play with the song that you're listening to. There may be a couple of little gaps, but nevertheless you've actually figured something out by ear. And that's a very, very valuable skill. And it's not really something you're going to get by watching YouTube videos, especially, you know. This is a little bit more focused on trying to hear these things. Alright, so we'd have an A chord, a D chord, and an E chord. So that's our 1, our 4, and our 5. So that's just something I wanted to put out there for you. You know, I often like to help you with your learning. And although it's quite a simplistic thing, maybe that's something you can try to improve your auditory skills, your listening skills. And you'll be surprised if you kind of keep doing this exercise, you'll really develop your ears. So perhaps what you can do is you can, when you're thinking about how to practice, you can think, right, well, I'll do some visual stuff because that gets me somewhere really, really quickly. But I will also do a little bit of listening and see if I can figure things out. So does that make sense, everybody? I'm going to wait for a few kind of things here. Oh, Crime Fighting Chicken, great to see you. I'm glad you could join us. It's the first time I've come across you. Hey, Jeannie, it's lovely to have you on board. Just picked up the guitar and you're loving the teaching style. Well, just remember to head over to Patreon and you're going to have more videos than you can shake a stick at, okay, once you're through with YouTube. So, as I say, does that make sense? Yeah, Leo is saying yes. Sal's got the handle on that. Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody has got a feel for that and it's kind of not too difficult. All right. So let me go back to my little notes here. I've got something for Pat here. Okay. Hey, yeah. Okay, we've got it. Hey, Mike Laurie, great to see you with us, and Michael Deckier. You've got it, Preston. That's wonderful. And Bob's got that as well. So that's wonderful. That's all I really wanted to know. That, you know, I don't want to... leave anybody in the dark with any of this kind of stuff. You know, I like you to go away knowing, you know, and understanding what I'm talking about and stuff. All right. So we're on to the next one now. Now, I know a lot of you were asking me about what I do in a live situation, and all those questions are answered, like what I use for my lyrics. Like you can probably see sometimes when I do the Joe Show. Hey Ernie, great to have you with us tonight. I hope you got your shirt on tonight, Ernie, singing for the Reds. We're actually playing tonight. Liverpool are playing later on, Ernie. So Ernie is my good friend over in Tennessee in the US. Lovely to have him with us. You can't always make the show, but it's always great whoever joins us. I'm always very grateful. So I've got to play a song for my mum, else I'll get into trouble. All right, and she likes a bit of John Lennon. So I'm gonna have a go at a John Lennon song. So it's not something I've played in quite some time, all right? So just bear with me. Hopefully it will go according to plan. But like I've said to you, you've just got to enjoy the journey. You've got to feel relaxed about all this stuff and not really tense. One thing that I really noticed when I started playing out guitar, you know, many moons ago, playing live, it is amazing how nervous you get when you step up there onto a stage and start to try and play for the first time. It's a very nerve-wracking experience. You just got to take a few deep breaths and just try your best, keep your head down and focus on what you do. Make everything as simple as you possibly can. Now, another thing that you can do to condition yourself to playing in front of people is that if you have family about or you have barbecues or things like this, I know everything's a little bit difficult at the moment, but I've said it many times before, if you get the opportunity, always try and play in front of people, especially your family and things, because it's another thing I touched on behind the scenes is that if you ever get an opportunity to play for children and young ones, make sure you do so because they're like sponges and they take all this on board. And as I pointed out in that video, my musical experiences from childhood are really went a very long way to shape what I am now doing. You know, you're very impressionable obviously when you're young, and so it all goes in and it can lead to great things, you know. So always take that opportunity. Hey Tim, great to see you, and I'm going to come back, Tim. I've got something I wanted to say to you in a little while. Okay, Lawrence, nice to have you here. Lawrence Jones Walters. Okay, so let me play you another tune then. All right, this one goes like this. See if you can guess. I was dreaming of the past, and my heart was beating fast. I began to lose control. I began to lose control. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh no, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. I was feeling insecure. You might not love me anymore. I was shivering inside. I was shivering inside. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh no, I didn't want to hurt you. just a jealous guy. Okay, I want everybody to whistle now. I hope you're all whistling, I can hear you, you know. That's better. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh no, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. I was trying to catch your eye. Thought that you was trying to hide. I was swallowing my pain. I was swallowing my pain. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh no, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. Watch out, I'm just a jealous guy. Look out, I'm just a jealous guy. There you have it, a little bit of John Lennon. Okay, so I hope that was okay for you, Mum. I know you like your little bit of John, so there you have it, yeah? And so again, it's another one that I've done a lesson on. It's a lovely little song, very melodic song, not too difficult to play. And like a lot of these things, if you just take your time and work through them, they're not as difficult as they might sound. So definitely a cracking little song to have a look at there. Okay, what have we got here? We've got a few people saying things. Bristol Blue, Bob, use thumbs up button. Yeah, Joe, there was a chord I couldn't make out there. I'm guessing that one there under the video, but if you're live. Okay, so the chord may have been an E minor 6, Jeff. I wonder if it was that one. Could it be that one, perhaps? I don't know. But anyways, you're a patron, Jeff, so you can head on over and check that out. The whole arrangement's over on Patreon. All written out for you. All lovely. Thank you, Tim. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Oh, it's not that one. Well, there wasn't anything else too difficult there. Was it perhaps a B flat? Was it that one, Jeff? I can't spend ages on it. Ever thought about doing some singing videos? I never really have, because quite a few people have asked me if I could give them singing lessons, one-to-one, like the students that I teach on a one-to-one basis. I've never really considered myself a singer as such. I mean, I can sing a few songs, and that's what I do when I play out. I tend to sing, but it's not something that I'd be particularly comfortable teaching. I like to try and encourage people to try and find their own way. In fact, Andrew, I hope you're still watching and listening. I try and encourage my students to start singing from day one when they're playing the guitar, because maybe you don't realize this, but it is tremendously helpful. If you can't sing and you're just finding it a little bit too difficult to sing and play, then what you can do is you can just speak the words. And even that is a great habit to get into, because what it does is it teaches you the arrangement. If you're just strumming chords, like this, then it can be difficult to know where you are in a song. So a very, very good way of kind of counteracting that, if you like, is to either speak the lyrics when you're playing or try and sing the lyrics when you're playing. So that's another little tip for you, and hopefully that you can. So James there, James Nace, is saying that singing is one of those things that he struggles with, and it's a very common thing, James. So don't feel like you're on your own. 90% of people who I teach and I try and encourage to sing all kind of say the same type of thing, and I wonder if a lot of it is down to confidence. I can remember when way back when I started learning guitar, I didn't really sing as such. I was just concentrating on trying to learn the guitar, really. And it wasn't until 4 or 5 years down the road that somebody said to me, well, it's probably a good idea if you start trying to sing. And it was really, really good advice. My dad used to sing, and I often thought, well, if he can, maybe I've got a few of his genes. And my mum used to sing as well. My mum and I have some lovely sing-alongs. We had a little bit of Hank Williams, if I remember rightly. Last time we had a little bit of a sing-along. So yeah, just try and do it. It's not one of, I mean, yeah, sure, you can get singing lessons if you want to be a singer and all these other kind of things, but this is something that I've touched on, that if you record yourself early on in the process, so when you're learning a song, just hit that record button on your mobile phone or recorder, whatever it might be, and try and sing along. What you might find is it sounds awful to start with. Don't be too worried about that. But what that can be down to, like I say, is that you're very focused on what you're doing on the guitar. So that's why it might throw your singing out a little bit. But the purpose of recording yourself means that if you do that at the very beginning, then you do it again, let's say 3 weeks down the road or something like that, on the same song that you're trying to learn, and you do another recording 3 weeks later, then you've got something very concrete that you can look back on. And you can look on your first recording and think, oh, geez, that wasn't too great. You listen to your second recording and you might be pleasantly surprised and think, you know what, that's a little bit better than the first recording. And that is how music works. It's about incremental improvements. It's not about you. Nobody's ever going to jump from being a beginner to being seriously advanced, as we know. It's a very gradual process. And so that's why we've got to enjoy every step of the way. That's really, really important. So yeah, I hope that you do try and take that little bit of advice on board, because it's going to be very, very helpful for you. Try and sing, all right? You have been warned. Right now then, just going to have a little bit of a drink. Now, one of the things I spoke about, and it's only orange juice, there's no vodka in here. I'm leaving that to you lot. I like to be, do you know, one golden rule I've always had when I play live is that I never have a drink or anything mind altering, okay? It's very important to me to be focused. I don't want anything that's going to throw me out. People say, oh, aren't you going to have a pint? Yeah, sure, when I finish the gig. But I just like to keep it, it's just one of those things. I really like to be on the ball when I'm playing and stuff like that. So as I say, orange juice. Hope you're having a vodka though. Okay, are we all having a drink out there? I'd like to know, I'd be quite interested to know who's having a drink. I can bet Julie's having a Prosecco. I would lay money on Julie having a Prosecco, and I bet you Andrew's having a drink as well. I'm not too sure about Leo. Is Leo having a drink? I'm just not sure how many of you are. So, if you're on the text here, Gary's on the Stella, Ring of Fire's on the beers, Daryl's too early for a drink for Daryl, and Leo, I thought he might be drinking some decent French wine out there. And Stuart as well. Michael Burke's on the Guinness. Good lad, Michael. Medicine, that is. Only 10:30 wherever James is, so he's not. Still in the AM where David Howard is. Julie's got the Prosecco, but it's not as cool as me. Right, okay. Chai tea for Pete Galloway. Very nice, Pete. That sounds good. Sal's on the gin. William's on the coffee. Oh, okay. 1G. I don't know what that is, actually, Mum. Margaret is having a Baileys. I was going to have a Baileys, Margaret. I'll make an exception for that because it wouldn't blow my head off. Canadian, eh? Okay, so Red wine for Alex, no drink for me. Okay, Katie, that's a fair shout. I'm with you there. And it's not yet noon for Tim, so it's far too early for Tim to be thinking about these things. Okay, so that's fair enough. All right, so let me come back to my notes and let me tell you about a few other things that we've been thinking about. Some of the things I wanted to mention to you. Um, Last week, we had a lot of questions. Right, okay. Yeah, last week we had a lot of questions. I mentioned about a ditto pedal, which is a looper pedal, which is a great little device which enables you to create loops so you can play along and practice some melodic playing primarily. Not exclusively melodic playing, because what you can do is, you say for example, you can start out playing a shuffle like a blues. So you can record that, get that down, and then you can put another like rhythmic thing on it. Right, so you put that down, and then you might just... The idea being is that you can put layer upon layer down, or you can just put basic things down and try and practice your soloing over the top, okay? And Ernie's on the coffee. Okay, Ernie, it must be pretty early over there. Now then, this is the ditto pedal. I think I did touch on this last week. And Tim, this is what I was going to mention to Tim. I've just put in the finishing touches to a video, which is going to be coming to Patreon this weekend, all being well, Tim. So I know you were one of the ones who went and made a purchase, and you went to buy a ditto. You ordered one, and I think a few people were talking about doing that, which is one of the main reasons. It's something I've been meaning to do for absolutely ages, which is put together a basic video on how to use one of those things. You can have tons of fun with it, and it's almost like bringing another guitarist into the house. So it's a great little thing. I know that some of you have already experimented. Some of you have already got one of these things. So you'll know all about that. You will be well on your journey of looping and things like that. But for those of you who haven't, don't forget, something will be arriving very shortly over on Patreon to show you the basic operation of using a looper pedal. And I'd really like you to encourage you to watch that video, because especially during these times when we can't meet up with like-minded people, it's not so easy to do so. Like I say, it's a fantastic little thing, which is almost like having another guitar player in the room. So as I say, hope you'll tune into that video and give me your feedback on that. It'll be coming to Patreon very, very shortly. Okay, now then, what I was going to do is, I cannot believe how quickly time is passing us by. Okay, great, Tim. I'm really, really pleased to hear that. Okay, yes, supervision, send video, please. That'll be over on Patreon for you, Tim. You're a patron, so you'll get that, but I'll also chuck you a message or an email or something to tell you when that's up and running. Now, I've been busy this week. I'm always looking at ways to improve the Joe Show. And please share your ideas as well down below. Okay, once this video usually takes, I don't know, a few hours. Once I've done the show, it usually takes quite a few hours for it to upload. But once it does, you can come back and then you can post any little comments down below that you have. Like I say, it could be things to do with the play along. It could be anything. I always do my very, very best to respond to absolutely everybody who takes the trouble to message me. I'm still managing to do that, and hopefully I'll be able to do that for quite some time to come. So yesterday I ventured out with my mask on, being very careful. I had to get some shopping, ran out of food and everything else, and I needed to get a few bits and pieces. And I found one of these, which I thought would be absolutely ideal for our play-alongs. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see this. I'm so chuffed with this, you wouldn't believe. I'm probably happy. Whoops, a daisy. I'm probably happier than what you are. I've got a feeling that's gonna just waiting to fall off there. See? All right. Now, if it falls off halfway through, I want you to all carry on. We've come to our play along section of the show. Elvis Presley. That's All Right, Mama. All right, we've got an A chord. We've got an A7 chord. All right. We've got a D chord. And we've got an E chord. Now, you can kind of ignore this A7 chord. All right. You can play sevenths on the D and the E. All right. I just want you to feel comfortable. Now, I'm really chuffed with this. I cannot tell you how happy I am with this, because what it means is I can start showing you other ideas as well. Okay, this is just a little bit of a trial run to see that we can you can all see it well and all the rest of it, and we'll develop on from this. It just means I've got something to scribble on whilst we're doing our play along and thing. Now, the first one we're going to do is Elvis, That's All Right, Mama. Okay, I'm going to give you a very, very, very quick little bit of a lesson on this. Okay, I'm hoping that you know an A chord, a D chord, and an E chord. You really, really need to know those. Okay, so we've got an A chord. Now, the way you can play this, if you're a beginner, you can just strum these chords. All right, you're going to be going A. Well, that's all right, mama. That's all right with me. All right, that's all right. A7. Anyway you choose. It's a D. Now, mama, that's alright. Back to A. Sorry, then we go to E. That's alright now, mama. Anyway you choose. Alright. Now that is the most basic way that you can play this song. Alright. James, thanks for putting that chord diagram out there. I'm hoping as time goes by I might scribble a few diagrams and things on there, but I'm hoping you've got a basic knowledge with that. Okay, so that's how you're going to play it on a basic level. It just repeats, it just goes round and round. I'm going to be listening for you folks. You know how much I like to hear your playing. All right, now, so that's for the beginners. For anybody who's intermediate or who's advanced out there, okay, I want to hear you trying to be creative with this. Okay, now I'm not going to get into strumming patterns because you know that is not my philosophy. We have to feel these things. All right, you're playing an A chord, just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, if that's what you do. All right, it doesn't really matter. I want you to feel it. This is what's important. I don't want anybody, well, I don't want to get too strict here, but most of you will already know I'm not a fan of all this down, up, down, 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 up business, because it kind of robs you of the soul of playing. It's got to come from within. You got to think, okay, what can I do? I'll just do anything, you know? And you'd be surprised how quickly you'll come to terms with strumming. You're never going to need to look at those down, down, ups ever again. So please, please, please. Now, as Willem has just said, the other option we can do is like a... Okay, little country picking. 4 in the bass, 5 in the bass. Or you could go 5, 6 for the A chord. For the D chord, 4, 5. And for the E chord, 6 and 5. Okay, so that's if you're a little bit more advanced. And if you're not, then just have fun. It doesn't matter. I want you to relax. This is the time when you can relax without anybody kind of criticizing you or anything like that. It's very important you just enjoy the experience. So, are we ready? I'm going to be waiting for some yeses, and then I'm going to get cracking. Now, you advanced people out there, I want to hear you playing some solo. I'm going to be your backing guitarist tonight, and all the beginners are going to be providing your backing. Now, if you are intermediate or advanced, I want you to make an effort to try and do a little bit of solo and a little bit of melody. It doesn't really matter what you hit, they could all be wrong notes, but the point is that you're just taking part and enjoying it. All right, now, I've done enough talking, everybody seems ready, so we're going to go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic, right? I'm going to give you a while to get in the groove before I start my vocals. And don't forget, anybody who doesn't play, I expect you to sing. Okay, Mom? Well, that's alright, Mama. That's alright for you. That's alright, Mama. Any way you do, that's alright now, Mama. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you do. Fantastic. Great stuff. Go on, keep it solid. If you're doing the country, you got to try and keep it solid. Well, Mama, she don't told me. Papa told me too. Son, that girl you're fooling with, she ain't no good for you. That's alright now. Oh, that's alright now, Mama. Any way you do. Right, it's time for your soloing, folks. Away you go. Everybody else go to D. E. And back to A. Fantastic. I'm leaving town, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. When you won't be bothered with me hanging round your door. That's all right now. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you choose. Right, another solo, folks. Away you go. D. E. And A. One more time. Well, that's alright, Mama. That's alright with you. That's alright, Mama. Any way you do. That's alright now, Mama. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you choose. Why, bravo, bravo, bravo. Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm very, very impressed with everybody there. I thought you were doing a fantastic job. Really, really good. So give yourself a big pat on the back, because you really, really do deserve it. I played it a little bit slow there, Leo. I hope it wasn't too slow for you. I know you'd like to tear the place up with your solos and everything else, but I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a chance to be able to play along with it, because it's actually quite a quick song. Like Leo's saying, it's much more of a... So we're looking at much more like that, all right? So if we come back on the Joe Show in future, I want you to practice this one so you can get it like this kind of speed. All right, because that's kind of how it really is. It's a little bit quicker. So well done anyways. I didn't get great till I tried too much. James Burton on solo. That sounds great, Preston. I love James Burton. What a player he is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fun, pal. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Pete. That's great. Okay. And whilst we're on the subject, I really like Elvis, you know. I thought, as many people did, I'm certainly not alone in that. And I did one of his songs over on YouTube quite some time ago. And excuse me. Um, so I did this song a long time ago on YouTube. And I won't play you the whole song. Um, but I think if you like Elvis Presley, this is a cracking one to learn. Really lovely song. And I often get asked to play this one out live, although that hasn't been for a long time with all this bloody COVID. So, anyways, see if you can recognize it. I'm sure you will. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright sunny day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. You know, someone said that the world's a great stage, each must play a part. Fate had me playing in love with you, my sweetheart. Act one was when we met. I loved you at first glance. You read your lines so clearly, I never missed a cue. Then came act two. You seemed to change. You acted strange. And why I'll never know. Honey, you lied when you said you loved me. I had no cause to doubt you, but I'd rather go on hearing your lies than go on living without you. Now the stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. And if you won't come back, then make them bring the curtain down. Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? That's one of my favourite Elvis songs, probably one of his most popular songs. I think it's a wonderful song, really nice. I like it because it kind of suits my voice in that key for a change. It's nice to just get a song which is actually in the right key to start with. That's always really nice. Um, Giggling like Elvis did. Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I was thinking about that, and it was about a baldy guy as well, wasn't it? I can never stop thinking about that. The King, well played, Bolton Dave. Hello, everyone. Hey, Dave, great to see you. Love me, my favourite Elvis song. I hope you like that one, Katie. Please give it a go. It's an absolutely wonderful song to try and learn. Okay? Now, can you believe that we've already done our hour? And you know, it's the same old story. I never get through all the stuff I want to talk to you about. And I don't want to keep you away from your families and all the things that you do. I'd love to have you here for the evening and spend a lot longer with you. I'm not going to be going just yet because I've been looking forward to this all week, and I want to try and just go on for a little bit longer if everybody's interested in doing that. Yeah. So it's time to erase my whiteboard, which I'm extremely pleased with. As you can, I can't shut up about this, can I? Okay, so get yourselves ready while I rub this out, and I want you to get yourselves ready for Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed. Okay, and I'm hoping that some of you have had a chance to look at this, because normally what we do is we announce these things well in advance of them happening, so you have a chance to practice them. This isn't the idea really to just kind of try and learn them on the night. If you go to my Patreon page, you'll notice that all this stuff is is up there well in advance of the Joe Show, with all the relevant links and tabs and everything else that you need. So when you tune into the Joe Show, you're going to be ready to roll. You're not just going to be kind of struggling, trying to, learn it on the night, as it were. Okay? You make me hate work. I'm so sorry, Tim. Honestly, I know this isn't a great time for you. And Tim's doing a great job, I think. I hope you don't mind me saying, Tim, but Tim is working on the coronavirus thing. I think that's part of his job. And it'd be interesting to know what all you folks do. You all know what I do, but I haven't got a clue what any of you folks do. There's only a few people who kind of share what they do, with me. But I'm very interested in you folks. Yeah. So, Fedexto, good to see you. Right. Okay. So we're moving on. Now, how many of you have had a chance to look at Walk on the Wild Side? That's what I'd like to know first. While I'm writing this out for you, I want to see, I'm going to be looking up here, okay? I want to see how many of you have had chance to have a go at Walk on the Wild Side. I'm just going to Walk on the Wild Side. We're just going to put the initials for this one down. And what you need to know about this one, okay, the main thing you need to know about this is that C and F. All right, that is what the bulk of the song is. So get your fingers warmed up, go in between C and F while I write out the rest of it. Okay, there's only another little bit that you've got to think about, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. So you get yourselves practicing now, get yourselves warmed up, and I'll be with you very, very shortly. All right. And I'll explain this to you, what we're going to be doing. Okay. Yeah, wish you could do more. You're doing a fantastic job, Tim. Aircraft shop absorber tester. I missed that, I think. I missed part of that. Yes, I've looked at the song a bit. Yeah. Took a while to do the strum pattern. Yeah, well, don't forget, Daryl. Play from the heart. Don't get involved with the old up, down, down, up, down, down. Okay, well, Sal, just keep it simple, right? That's another thing that you can do. Gee whiz, I've got so many things I wanted to talk to you about tonight. All right, so you all see that, right? The bulk of the song is C and F, but then we have another little passage where we go C, D, F, D. Okay? And I'm just going to show you how that goes now. All right? I'll pop this here. It didn't fall down last time, which was good. All right? Stay in there. It could come crashing down. There's always that possibility. Okay. Hopefully you know those chords. These are basic chords. If you don't know them, then you need to learn them. Okay? Because this is basic stuff we're doing here. F's. All right, well, just try. Just try, Margaret. Don't worry. Okay, F is a difficult chord. Got one. Not used to it yet. Right, okay. The bulk of the song is just C, F, C, F, that is the bulk of the song. Then there is a little bit where it goes, shave the legs on the way. Yeah? Sorry, it says, pluck their eyebrows on the way, shave the legs, and then he was a she. And then we're back into... Okay, so that little bit there is C, shave the legs. Sorry, I keep saying that. Pluck their eyebrows, right? Pluck their eyebrows is C. On the way, D. Shave the legs, F. And back to D. So it's C, D, F, D. Now don't worry if you don't get it. Doesn't matter. Nothing lost. All right? The idea is that we'll just try to do our best. All right? And if you struggle with that, do the little F like Joe is using. Any great point. Okay? Don't be worrying about this F. Completely unnecessary. Just play a little F. Right? And if you're struggling to play an F, here's a little tip for you. Put your index finger on the second string of the first fret. And just press that string and let it rest on the bottom string so it doesn't sound. Then all you've got to do is put your middle finger on the third string of the second fret and your ring finger on the fourth string of the third fret. So you're playing like an F major 7, but it can be an F for this. Okay? But when you're hitting it, be sure to just hit the bottom half of the strings. If you start hitting the top, it's going to sound rubbish. So just the bottom part of the strings when you're doing, if you're going to play this little simple F. All right? Baby F. That's it. All right. Are we ready? Yeah? You tell me when you're ready and we'll get cracking. That's exactly right, James. It's a nice, easy transition, and this is what we want. We want to be able to transition between the chords. If you think about it, that F I've just shown you, to go to the C, all you're doing is you're raising the middle finger and the ring finger up a string. You've got a C, so you're going... Really easy. All right, so we're all ready. All right, Jeff, if you're feeling adventurous, see if you can figure out the bass notes on this. And you could play some different elements. See if you can, you know, because I know some of you out there are well and truly maybe past this stage, you know, the basics, as it were. So it's just a great opportunity. You've got me to be your backing guitarist, so you can actually experiment and really, you know, just try to do something that you wouldn't ordinarily have the chance to do. Okay, let's go. We haven't got a whole lot of time and we want to get this one done. So we're starting in C, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Holly came from Miami, FLA. Hitchhike away across the USA. Plucked her eyebrows on the way, shaved her legs, and then he was a she. Said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey honey, take a walk on the wild side. Alright, now remember, those of you who aren't playing, I need you to help me with the singing, with all the doop-be-doop-be-doop-doop-be-doop-doop. Alright? Candy came from out on the island. In the back room, she was everybody's darling. But she never lost her head, even when she was giving head. She said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I like it, Pop. I said, hey honey, here we go. Take a walk on the wild side. And the colored girl singing now. Do 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 do. Let me hear ya. Great stuff. Alright, here it goes. Little Joe never once gave it away. Everybody had to pay and pay. A hustle here and a hustle there. New York City is the place where they said, hey Joe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey Joe, take a walk on the wild side. And while the color girls sing, they go doo be doo be doo doo be doo 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 doo be doo be doo be doo doo be doo be doo be doo. Great singing, folks. I wish, Katie, get that saxophone out. Sugar Plum Fairy came and hit the streets, looking for soul food and a place to eat. Went to the Apollo, could have seen them go, go, go. I said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey honey, take a walk on the wild side. Alright. Just C and F. C, F, C, F, C, F. Last verse. Jackie is just speeding away. Thought she was James Dean for the day. Then I guess she had to crash. Valium would have held that back. Said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey honey, take a walk on the wild side. And the color girls singing now, do be do be do do be do do be do be do do be do. C, F. Singers, come on, don't stop. F, C, F, and woohoo! Well done, you folks. Great stuff. Well done. Really, really impressive. Really, really good. And it's just good to just, you know, let your hair down and have a little bit of fun playing these songs and stuff. The more you do it, the easier it all becomes, okay? So, gee whiz, look, time is marching on. And as I say, there's still so much that I haven't covered, which I guess we'll have to wait until the next Joe show, unfortunately. I always kind of try and plan it so I get through all this stuff, but you know, really do struggle sometimes. Okay. Now, just for another little bit of kind of update and things like that, I like to keep you posted about all the upcoming material and all the things that I'm working on, because during this lockdown, this has really become, you know, like a full-time job for me. You might think, oh, well, come on, you know, you do only do the Joe show and put out a brand new lesson every week. But these things take a lot of time to do them in such a way that they lend themselves to, you know, working and giving you all the materials and the tabs and everything that goes with it. So it's not quite as simple as it might seem. Now, just to remind you all that I've started, for those, again, many of you are going to know about this, but I did still want to touch bases with you on it, and that is the Slide Guitar for Beginners. This is a course, again, that I've started over on Patreon, proving to be very, very popular. Now, we've done the first two parts, which are available and already up on Patreon. These are, I do quite a lot of exclusive material for Patreon, so if you really want to get the most out of what I do, you need to head over there and check that out. Now, one thing I wanted to put out there was that you really need to know these first two parts really, really comfortably, okay? Because the next part that's coming is going to be a song with a backing track. So I'm going to teach you to play a complete song with those techniques that we've looked at in parts 1 and 2, okay? So please take the time to go through them and get very, very comfortable with them, because you don't want to be getting slowed up once we come to part 3 and these subsequent parts start coming out. All right, so I want also very, very interested in all your feedback on these type of subjects. So please do take the time to drop me a comment. You know, you guys are fantastic over there, very, very good at communicating with me, putting ideas out there, telling me what you think of the lessons and things like that. So try and put in a little bit of time on the slide guitar if that's something that interests you, because part 3 is coming, and I think you're gonna find it a whole lot of fun, because we just take those ideas and I show you how to use it in a song. Okay, now then. Now, I suppose I've got one more little thing I wanted to run past you. Do I have still anybody here, or am I on my own now? I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps I should wrap it up here, or maybe you'd like, what would you like? You can either have one song or you can have one tip. What would you like? It's all down to you. I'm going to put it to the vote. Keep going. We are here. Hey, Joe, Minnie. Okay, all right. It seems like, okay, song. Most of us are still here. Both. This was the first play along I've managed to get to attend, Joe. Great. And hey, Pete, it'd be wonderful, as I say, to see you over at Patreon. I think you'd really enjoy things over there. So really wonderful to see you. David Price, Gary Curtis, 10 of each, board of family. Gary, I like it. Can we maybe do, oh, goodness me. Oh, gee whiz, song. Oh, wow. Okay, you'd like to hear a song, a happy one if you can. I don't do happy, Katie. You should know me by now. I'm not, hey folks, Joe is the best instructor online, period. Take advantage of his Patreon site. I really do appreciate your shout out there, Ernie. Very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, Stones, as time goes by. Yeah, well, look, you know, I really do have to get a Rolling Stones song together for Leo. He's been asking me for quite some time now. And what did thank you, Tim, as well, yeah, and Sal. You're a wonderful group of people. I always say that. Okay, well, I'm going to play you another song. I'm going to dedicate this one to Julie as well. Julie is a great kind of source of inspiration for me. And so I think it's only right that I do something for her. Hopefully you'll like it. I've got a feeling Katie might like this one as well, actually. I've got a feeling she might have mentioned this to me in the past. All right, well, we'll see how we go. All right, and I will certainly bear in mind all your suggestions. Don't think that if I don't respond to something on here that it doesn't go in, because I do check back and have a look through all of this. So rest assured that I do read everything that I possibly can. So I'm going to be wrapping it up after this song, but don't disappear too quickly, because that's one of my favorite parts of the show, whereby I get an opportunity to thank you and wish you farewell and everything else. Okay, I was also speaking recently, you know, about trying to do this a little bit more frequently, but it's been very difficult for me to do it, quite honestly. And you know, maybe that's one of the things that makes it a little bit special, is the fact that it isn't every week, or it isn't every few days, or something like that. But what I would like to mention to some of you who might be interested, and that is I'm going to be doing some demos, or should I say, if I get some time next week, I might just make a impromptu live broadcast, and the purpose of it would be to demo some equipment, to see if I can try some of the things that I'm interested and keen to try. So it may be useful if a few of you are there. It's not going to be no Joe show. It's not going to be particularly interesting, if I'm honest, because as I say, I'm just going to be trying to improve my sound a little bit and trying a few things out. And of course, I'll need a little bit of feedback for people to say, well, no, that sound isn't quite as good as what you get for the Joe show, or wow, that's a lot better than what you're getting at the moment. So if anybody's interested in that, just keep an ear out, and you might just see me make a little bit of a live broadcast, on the fly, as it were, without any kind of notifications. Okay, so as ever, it's an absolute pleasure to play for you, to play with you, to have your company. It means a great deal to me to have your support. You just, I don't think you realise just how much I appreciate that. So I'd always like to thank you for those type of things. So here we go. And this song goes like this. See if you can get this one. All right, it goes a bit like this. Don't think you're going to get it. It sounds a bit like a Bloomin' song I used to play in the band. You're everywhere but nowhere. I'm not playing that. I'm sick of that song. Must have played it about 3,000 times. All right, here we go. If I went out late at night, I wouldn't be treating my baby right. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. Where am I going here? I've lost the plot completely, haven't I? Better start that one again. Where am I? No wonder I'm playing it in B flat. I'm losing the plot. Right, okay. That's the beauty of the live show. All right? You don't worry about things like that. Here we go. I'll try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's better. I was wondering what was going on. If I went out late at night, I wouldn't be treating my baby right. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to lose my girl. I wanna go out and cheat a little bit, but I'm scared my girl might quit. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to lose my girl. She suffers every night, works hard every day. Then I take her money and throw it all away. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to lose my girl. I got a good friend in Alabama, trying to get my business all in a jam. Can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to lose my girl. You can spend my money, wear my clothes. I catch you messing with my girl, I'll bust you in your nose. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to lose my girl. And there you have it, folks. Okay. And don't forget, as people are saying there, like Leo, please hit that like button. I think it might ring bells with YouTube or something, and they might start trying to grow our audience for us. Not that that matters too much. Like I've said many a time, it wouldn't matter if we just had half a dozen people here. I would still be here for you. Hopefully making, just giving you an hour away from all this kind of stuff that we're having to deal with at the moment. So, hey, Louis in Texas, great to have you with us. We're just finishing the show now. I hope you've been able to watch some of the show. If you haven't, you can always watch that on catch up. Now then, so it's time for me to say my farewells to everybody and thank everybody for joining me tonight, as ever. I really appreciate that. So let's get it started with Julie Banjo and Preston. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Louis, as I say, in Austin, Texas. Paul, thank you very much, Paul. I'll be getting in touch with you soon about this new project that we're talking about. Lawrence there, JW, Daryl Voss and Michael Burke. Thanks again, Michael, for the donation. That's very much appreciated. We got Leo, Derek M, Willem. Sometimes they fly by quick. Bristol Blue, James Neese, Glad you enjoyed your first show. Gordon Taylor, hey Gordon, wonderful. Sal Cook, David Price. Vegard, a new patron. Great to see you, Vegard. Hope you enjoyed it. Leo, as ever, pleasure to have you with us. Paul Magson, hey, Paul and Gary Curtis and Scott Green Mile, thanks for joining us, Scott. Super Ring of Fire, Sagar Volkov, thank you for joining us. And Bob Hardy. Bob, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'm going to have to get that harmonica out again and do you some more tunes sometime. Jeannie, thank you very much. It's lovely to have you here with us. Alex Richardson as well, and Giles from Burgundy. Margaret, Berth Whistle. Thanks for joining us, Margaret. I think you were with us on the last show as well, so it's lovely to see you back. Good night, Katie. Hope you have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed what we did tonight and everything else. And I think that's everybody. Unless anybody else pops up now, I think we've probably covered all bases. Okay, Pete Galloway was well entertaining. Still hitting your back catalogue. You're a good one. Thanks, Pete. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You take care, folks. I'll be back in a fortnight's time with the Joe Show. Don't forget, lots of tutorials over on Patreon, YouTube. And if you haven't already signed up to the Facebook page, you might like to check that out. It's a great place, very supportive group of people where you can post videos of yourself playing and get some positive feedback. So if you haven't done that, please consider that. All the links are going to be below this video, and if not this video, then any of my other videos. Maxter, thanks ever so much for joining us, Maxter. And Gary, yeah, just mentioned that. Wesley, Gibraltar, thank you for joining us, Wesley. It's lovely to have your company. Okay, folks, you all take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. All the best. Do, 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 do.